Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Dan, who came from St. Louis to be with us with his film vision. Let's take another clip.
You got something more valuable than money. They wanted people with vision in this community.
You stay on your mouth. He's soft. You all really thought he could hang with me?
Dan, welcome to New Filmmakers LA, and thank you so much for bringing your film to us. It was such a treat. Did you enjoy last night?
It was awesome. Yeah, it was just an honor to be here and to see everybody else's films and sit in the audience, be in the Q&A. I love it. I loved it.
It was amazing, and it was so fantastic to have you up there on the stage with us. And for those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
So the film's called Vision, and it's about a young 17-year-old visual artist from North St. Louis, which is a neglected part of St. Louis. And he loves playing video games online, talking trash. Next thing you know, he's got some bullies chasing him, and he ends up in a dilapidated church, starts to draw it. And this really interesting old man arrives that we quickly realize is blind, but when he has these special sunglasses on, he can see. And he ends up giving the sunglasses to the kid. And the kid realizes when he puts them on, everything in front of him transforms. So abandoned lots full of trash become urban gardens with a diverse group of people working in it. Boarded up houses now have families playing on the front porch. And then even people's lives change. People who are begging on the streets are now dressed and going to work. And so we watch what Lewis, the main character, does with this new vision he has.
It's such an amazing idea. Like, this idea is so beautiful, and the way that it was articulated, both from an acting sense to also how visually it was really quite stunning.
Thank you.
Where did this idea come about?
Kind of a long genesis, but I would say it really started when I was volunteering, mentoring high school students, and I would drive them all around St. Louis. And you would cross certain streets, and all of a sudden everything would change. It'd be like an entirely different city. You go from $1 million homes to like $10,000 homes, and it's just like, why is our city like this? Why is one part of our city just completely neglected and not thought about? Why don't we have a bigger vision for it? And so that kind of always just stuck with me. And then when this nonprofit Love the Lou came to me, they had been working in this area for about 10 years. And they said, hey, we want to do a documentary about the impact we're having in North St. Louis. And we know you do documentaries. Can you do a documentary about this? And I'm like, okay, well, what have you been filming for the last 10 years? And they were like, we got these 3 clips. And I'm like, we can't really make a documentary out of 3 clips, but I'd always wanted to get into fiction film because my background, I've done 4 documentaries, like feature docs, and a lot of doc work is kind of my day job, but I want to move into fiction. I'm like, what if we did a fiction film that talked about the work you've done in this part of St. Louis, but we did it through actors and a story, and they loved that idea. And so that's kind of where it all started.
Oh, amazing. So it was originally going to be a documentary, but then you evolved it into a fictional.
Yes,
which is,
They wanted to do a documentary at first, and then I kind of come up with this concept of, there was a song that someone I knew wrote that said, like, imagine what the world could look like, imagine what the world could look like. And this idea, like, how can we get that idea? And the tool of the glasses became a solution to that.
I fell in love with your actors. Like, I just was like, oh my God, I love them. This is amazing. Like, this is really, really amazing. How was that casting process? I just thought their acting ability, their articulation of the story was really good. And you needed to get certain kind of actors to really experience that. How was the casting process for you?
Yeah, it was great. This was in the middle of COVID, so we did all the casting in like fall of 2020. So it was all online, people submitting, and just watching a bunch of different clips, and it was super clear that our main character was going to be Zion Thomas, who ends up playing Lewis.
Yeah.
His audition was phenomenal. Me and the producer, like, this is the guy, right? And like, yeah, done.
Yeah.
So he, little did we know, he had a lot of experience kind of as a kid acting, and his mom's an actress. So he was an easy find. And then the older gentleman, Bobby, I'd worked with in other projects, not really on that side of the camera, but behind the scenes on other projects. And he's a well-known activist, worldwide known storyteller. He used to be on a TV show that was like the St. Louis Mr. Rogers called Gator Tales, and he would tell stories to kids with a little hand gator puppet.
Amazing.
And when I saw that he did the audition, I was like, okay, the pieces are just coming together.
Yeah, it's always nice when you feel that, isn't it? And you feel that moment, you're like, my goodness. I mean, because I couldn't imagine anyone portraying this character better than what they did. They did a really fantastic job. This film just, really had, it was interesting because it was almost felt like a documentary because it felt so personal. It really felt personal to their stories, and it was had so many levels of endearment to these characters, but it was also really heart-wrenching because this is the truth. This is actually what's going on. This is true to the experience, and it's very sad that there is such an imbalance. You really captured that really well on film, and my heart was just really feeling so much. But what did you want your kind of audience to take from this film? Because it is important, and this is going on in the city.
So I think and I had a co-writer help me with the script.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, Ted did a great job. We spent a lot of time on the phone, kind of working through how are we going to communicate these different things.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, our goal was that you have to have vision, you have to have an idea, but an idea without any work behind it, it doesn't make any kind of difference.
Yeah.
And what this organization needs, and what organizations that do this kind of work need, are people with vision, people that have a heart. But they also need people who show up and serve. And so really, when you see the film, you realize our main character realizes hey, it's great to have vision, it's great to imagine what could be, but you have to really get your hands dirty and do stuff in the real world for things to change.
Yeah.
And by the end of the film, he starts to realize that it wasn't about these spiritual, magical glasses he had. It was about having this in his heart that something needed to be different, and then getting to work. And there's a lot of organizations that could use support from kids like him.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to give it away, but the ending is brought tears to my eyes. It was so beautiful the way.
Good.
I mean, really stunning. I really loved how you captured the vision when the glasses. I love the whole grading, the colors, the everything. It was beautiful. How was that process? Because it looks so beautiful. These scenes that were created when these magical glasses were put on. Yeah,
that I got to give credit to my DP. He really helped me kind of shot list it, plan it out. He chose the color, worked with our colorist to do that. And he had this idea of this amber color to communicate it, and we did some cool visual effects, where the glasses come down. We had a visual effects artist help us change it as it was coming down, because that wasn't so easy. Just thinking about the different creative ways to do this. Yeah. And there were definitely some challenging hoops to jump through, but when you have a great crew, they solve those problems and make it easy. The things you worry and stress about, how are we going to do this? Other people are oh, here's how we'll do that. And you're all right, I shouldn't have worried so much,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think with these as I say, these characters that they blew us away last night. It was really nice. I was in the audience when the film was going on. And I could feel people's energies in it as well. What was it like from a director standpoint? How was your process in directing this story?
One of the best pieces of advice I got about directing is that you are the protector of the story.
Yes.
Right? When you're on set, there's so many things that can go wrong. Lighting people want something different. Everybody wants something different. Things are going on. But you're my job right now, while everybody's worried about everything else, is to protect this story and make sure we get it. Yeah. So you got to kind of tune out whatever else is going on. And just focus in on your actors, focus in on the monitor, make sure you're capturing what you want to capture. And I think that's that mantra just stuck with me. Don't worry about all the other details, let somebody else think about that. Protect this story and make sure because nobody's going to know what's happening on the other side of the camera when you actually see the film. 100%. They're only going to know about this performance, they're only going to know about that. So make sure that's good. And then also I think I'm trying to be the chief encourager. Yeah. Right? That positive attitude on set that's just thanking people, appreciating people. Yeah. And then working with the actors in a way that is just very collaborative, very encouraging. And sometimes it's really hard to think of that right word. You're it's not working on camera. What do I need? And everybody's looking at you this isn't doing it, you know? And then you're okay, what is the word this person needs? And when you find that word, and you say, because there was one scene where our main character, he was coming off as a preacher, and I'm I want you to be a mentor. Yeah. And when his tone changed, his delivery wasn't so strong and loud. Yeah. It was calm and gentle. We're there it is. Yeah. And it's you got to kind of be quick on that in the moment.
You have to have very quick.
The right words,
And you're on literally you've come from St. Louis, you came to LA, you're going to Dallas. This film's doing really, really well. We loved having your film here last night. What was the experience like for you?
It was great. I just love, the open bar feel, so it encourages people to hang around, chat. There was a lot of students here. I love how you guys are so collaborative collaborative and teaching kind of the next generation. And so I had a lot of college students come up and ask a lot of good questions. Here, right now in the interview, we have high school students watching, learning, helping out. And so I love that generational mindset that New Filmmakers has. And I'm just honored to be here. I think this is potentially the best festival I've ever been to because, I mean, I had a week of sessions.
I just got chills, guys. Got chills.
Like, I talked to Lionsgate, I talked to Warner Brothers, I talked to agencies I never heard of. Like a whole week of sessions. It's just like I felt appreciated. You set up a time to meet with the other filmmakers on Zoom, and I'm making friendships. I'm hopefully connecting with people.
Yeah.
It just felt really like, hey, it isn't just good luck, show up, hopefully we'll see you there. It's like, no, we're taking care of you all along the route. And so then that makes me want to give all that I have to the festival.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because we do, I mean, we treat you like our, you're all of our children, and your family to us. We want the best for you, and I always think, what you put out is what you get back, and the more you do for each other, the better the outcome, and your success is our success.
Yeah, the extras you guys put into this are not in vain.
Yeah.
Like all the extra, I know it's probably a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of different things and details, but it shows, and it shows that you care about filmmakers and you want them to succeed.
Thank you all the New Filmmakers staff, because you always do it every single month. But thank you, and thank you for saying that, Dan. And just to finalize, like, please, where are you taking us next? What's the next project? Where are you going to bring in? When's the next film you're going to come and bring with us? What's going on?
Yeah, well, I'm working on a documentary. It's about public transit, and we ride with people on the bus, and we experience bus stops and the quality of bus stops. I never thought I'd make a documentary about bus stops, but that's what I'm doing. It's called The Sorry Stop, because St. Louis won the worst bus stop in the country award. And we thought,
how do you win that? God, that's got to be that's a lot.
There's a competition for everything, right?
Damn.
And so we won that, and so we're kind of building on that idea of like, what can we do to make public transit? Because when you care about public transit, when you care about bus stops, you care about the people that use those that are generally low income, minority, folks that everybody else in cars just driving past, not thinking about it. But there's people just standing out in the sun, standing in the rain, standing in the snow. Like, what can we do to really care about people who are right now needing to take public transit? So working on that, plan to submit that here. And then I think my next thing is either a feature or a TV show. I think I'm ready to do that. I've been doing this for a while. I'm about 40 years old, so I'd like to take that big step and do that. It's time.
But honestly, just as a filmmaker, thank you for caring about, I think it's so important wherever you reside in the world that you care about your community, and you're making projects that really, impact and care about the community, and the moving image is so powerful for that. So just thank you as a filmmaker for making the projects that you're making.
Films can change things, right? They
really
can have an impact.
It really does. But well, thank you for Vision. Thank you, Dan. Thank you to all of your cast and crew and everyone that helped you make this film. We really appreciate it, and welcome to the family.
Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Dan.